Welcome to this series of podcasts on Ganja Law 101. And this is episode 1. And this one is going to explain why the podcasts are called Ganja Law. It's really drug law. And the reason I'm calling it Ganja Law is because marijuana is the lens by which you can understand the drug law better. Marijuana is the most controversial thing in the drug laws, and so it really provides a lot of insight into how the whole thing fits together. Just to give you an example, the UN reclassified marijuana in December of 2020, and the reason they did that was because it was classified as having no valid use, and so the reclassification in 2020 recognized that it has some legitimate use. It's a pretty incremental change, but that's a huge change. There's nothing else in the treaties that's quite that dramatic. So I'm going to start out. I got my screen here, and I'm going to start clicking on links. The first one is the international treaties that we're talking about here. There's 3 of them. The 3 major international drug control treaties. And the one that marijuana is included in, ganja, is the first one, Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs. The word narcotic is kind of outdated, so then they came along with this other one here in 1971 called the Convention on Psychotropic Substances. And that one started to recognize modern chemistry. So they realized that drugs were synthetic and extracted, and that they were really more focused on drugs than plants, and calling plants narcotics. So, and then the last one is just a trafficking thing, so it's not relevant. But there's some similar language in all these treaties about how they're applied to the nations that are parties to the treaties. So when I click on this one, it brings up this page here. And when you click on full text, it says page not found. So that just tells you, well, the United Nations is a big thing. It's got a lot of stuff going on. So maybe they're just not, don't have enough staff to keep this page updated. Who knows? Anyway, so let's get rid of that. And then we can go to these other pages that are put together a little better. This one shows you who signed the treaty, the Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs. The United States signed this thing down here, United States, 1967. So that's the date that's important to us. When you go down here, you'll see we're in this list down here. And it just says the United States has some territories and states and stuff, and it applies to all of them. So that is that page. And then the treaty itself is this page. Now, the reason this page works is because this is the International Narcotics Control Board. This is the administrative agency in the United Nations that has specific responsibility for the controlled substances. So that's why this page works and the other one doesn't. I mean, I'm just forgiving them for not having updated that first page. But this page has got the actual treaty on it. And then I already clicked on that. Okay, so then if you want to see the schedules, which I was talking about before, this page shows you the schedules, and you can see what the current listing is. And hopefully, if you were to look at this, you would see that marijuana has been reclassified. Let's see if I can find it. Cannabis. There we go. It's hard to read. Schedule 1. Okay, cannabis. The Single Convention is really odd because it's numbered 1, 2, 3, and then like 4 was an afterthought or something. So under state and federal scheduling, Schedule 1 would be the most severe, but under this treaty, for some reason, Schedule 4 is the most severe. So what we want to do is look for cannabis under Schedule 4, and it should not be there because it was removed a few years ago. Let's see if I can find that. Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 3. I don't even know if they have a Schedule 4 in here. Man, got a lot of list. They control a lot of stuff. Let's see. Let's get Table 1. Oh my God. How many pages have we got? Almost to the end. Okay. So, well, I haven't prepared too good, so let's just say that we know marijuana was removed. I'll cover that in a later podcast. This one's just an introduction to the treaties. So then we got the Convention on Psychotropic Substances, and that was 1971, and the United States signed that one. And I've been talking about the schedules. There are also exemptions, and so this one is going to show that. And you can see the United States is highlighted here because it has something unusual going on. So we'll click on that, and then we go, what do you know? Peyote, exception, religious use. So what happened is that they added mescaline to this treaty, and it hadn't been covered by the single convention. So peyote wasn't in the single convention, and neither was mescaline. So when they came out with this chemistry thing, they decided they were going to outlaw mescaline. And because peyote has mescaline in it, they put this exception in here. So this is a religious exemption for the use of peyote. Okay, and this is 1971. Let's see, I can't. The United States ratified this, and yeah, there we go, in 71. So there you go. So that wasn't like a big delay like it was on the single convention, where that was like 5 or 6 years before the United States adopted that one. All right, and the last one is the list of substances controlled under the Psychotropic Substances. And so that covers that. So I'm going to wrap up this episode right here, and I'll put these links in my blog, and I will make a screenshot of that and attach it to the back of this video. And the next episode, I'm going to talk about the peyote exemption, because that is an example of how something is legalized without having a medical use. The whole purpose of this Controlled Substances Act is to limit the use of drugs and substances to medical and scientific use. But the exemption for the religious use of peyote is like, okay, well, that's another accepted use. So what is that? How does that work? Is that an establishment of religion? The United States Constitution guarantees free exercise of religion, but it also prohibits establishment of religion. So how does this all work? So that'll be the next podcast, and that's going to be a lot longer than this one. So I'm going to wrap this up right here and call it quits. And there we go.